Our feast on this first Saturday of September, the 5th, honors Mother Teresa under the title St. Teresa of Calcutta, present-day Kolkata, whose statue stands here before the chapel of Our Lady. She was born Gongsa Agnes Bojakshu on August 26, 1910, in the Balkans, in Skopje, the present capital of North Macedonia. At that time, however, it was a provincial capital in the Ottoman Empire. Subsequently, she would describe her life as follows. By blood, I am an Albanian. By citizenship, an Indian. By faith, I am a Catholic nun. As to my calling, I belong to the world. As to my heart, I belong entirely to the heart of Jesus. In 1928, Gongsa left to join the Sisters of Loreto in Ireland, where she learned English. There she received the name Sister Mary Therese, after Therese of Lisieux, the patron of missionaries. The next year she left for Calcutta, India. She made her first profession of vows in May 1931 and was assigned to teach at St. Mary's School for Girls. She changed the spelling of her name to the Spanish Teresa, as there was already a Sister Therese there. 6 years later, she made her final profession, and by 1944 was principal of the school. It was a time of happiness for her. She was noted for charity, unselfishness, courage, hard work, a talent for organization, characteristics which would be important for her as her spiritual life developed. On September the 10th, 1946, during a train ride to Darjeeling in the Lower Himalayas for an annual retreat, she received a, quote, call within a call, unquote, from the Lord. For the next month, Jesus revealed pain at the neglect of the poor and asked her to establish a religious congregation, and that would become the Missionaries of Charity. On August the 17th, 1948, about 2 years later, she received permission, and for the first time in a white, blue-bordered sari, which would become the habit of the new order, she left the school for the world of the poor. And Vatican authorization came a couple of years later in 1950. The first years were challenging. Initial support came from some of her former pupils. Her popularity and the congregation grew and began to attract recruits and donations outside Calcutta and India. By the 1970s, it had opened houses and foundations in the United States, as well as dozens of countries in Asia, Africa, and Europe, including several communist countries. The first Missionaries of Charity home in the U.S. was established in the South Bronx. And by 1984, the congregation operated 19 establishments throughout our country. Mother Teresa made occasional trips outside India for humanitarian reasons. She spoke 5 languages: Bengali, Albanian, Serbian, English, and Hindi. By this century, the congregation had nearly 5,000 nuns, co-workers numbering 1 million, and was active in 133 countries. It manages homes for people dying of HIV/AIDS, leprosy, and tuberculosis. It runs soup kitchens, dispensaries, family counseling services, as well as orphanages and schools. After chastity, poverty, and obedience, members take a fourth vow to give wholehearted, free service to the poorest of the poor. Mother Teresa, during her life, received countless honors, including the 1979 Nobel Peace Prize, quote, for work undertaken in the struggle to overcome poverty and distress, which also constitutes a threat to peace, unquote. When asked what one can do to promote world peace, she responded with one of her memorable quotes, "Go home and love your family." She was made an honorary U.S. citizen in 1996. Teresa was a controversial figure in life and after her death. She was admired for her charitable work. At the same time, she was both praised and criticized on various accounts, such as her strong views on abortion and contraception, and she was criticized by some for hygienic conditions in her houses for the dying. However, as a parishioner here at St. Matthew's, who has spent time with the missionaries in Calcutta, points out, the loving care received by those dying there beat being left on the street. Mother Teresa's response would be, no matter who says what, you should accept it with a smile and do your own work. In her final years, she suffered from poor health. There was a heart attack in Rome in 1983 when visiting Pope John Paul II. Later, in 1996, she broke a collarbone, got malaria, and heart failure surfaced. She died from the latter on this date, September 5th, 1997. India gave her a state funeral. Privately, she had experienced various doubts and challenges for many years, sometimes like the dark night of the soul, St. John of the Cross, nights of nothingness and spiritual dryness, while seeking at all times to maintain a smile. Teresa was beatified in 2003 and canonized by Pope Francis on September the 4th, 2016, just 4 years ago. She is the patron of World Youth Day, as well as, along with Francis Xavier, co-patron of the Archdiocese of Calcutta. Films and documentaries of her life, notably the 1972 book, Something Beautiful for God, by Malcolm Muggeridge, are credited with drawing the world's attention to her. Our cathedral has a special relationship to this unique saint. In 1974, Mother Teresa visited St. Matthew's, and there is a picture of her with then Father Jameson, which hangs outside his office. On other occasions, Mother came to the Archdiocese, for example, to receive the profession of vows from new members of the Missionaries of Charity. I was privileged to be at one Mass when this took place. Certainly no stranger here, or in so many other places. St. Teresa of Calcutta, pray for us.